Welcome to MMO Grinder Sidequest, where I take a look at early open or closed betas, subscription trials, and simpler titles, giving you a quick first impression. Today I'll be looking at MMO Legend, a Diablo-Clone game taking place in the universe of MMO Online, which I never played, but people have mentioned it on and off. This is a fairly recent title to be released, though I didn't really feel it was completely ready for any sort of full episode, so here we are. The game looks fairly decent for what it is. Interesting lighting effects, but some hilarious shortcuts that remind me of old cel-animated cartoons. You know, where a background image would look super detailed, except for one section that was colored brightly and flat, letting you know that that section would be destroyed. Yeah, the exact same thing happens in the tutorial, where a bridge section that's suspiciously brighter than the rest of the bridge gets taken out by a meteor. It's an amusing observation at the least. Texture work is a bit all over the place, as the models are small on the screen and textures don't look the best up close, especially with these optional tattoos on your character. But other times it will look very impressive for the style, especially with certain lighting effects. Action on screen will be intense enough to give a ton of flashy effects that would mask your ability to even notice any certain flaws in the first place. Shortcuts are taken where they need to be. Also amusing are the fairly impressive CG cutscenes that end up trying to transition seamlessly into in-game graphics, where the difference is as obvious as when games tried to do the same thing during the PS2 days. Epic fantasy is the staple of this genre, and MMO Legends makes no exception. Expect orchestras to swell to obnoxious levels, or just keep their calm and provide you with some ambience. You've probably heard this kind of music before in any number of fantasy games. Solid work, but nothing that's going to stick out in any notable way. Though I really wish that that rock track playing during the tutorial was more of the norm than the exception. What might be considered a sore spot to some is the line reads given to narrate the story. There's an amount of effort that was given to these line reads at the sacrifice of their subtlety.
1,000 years have passed since then. Kundun became the monarch of darkness, having lost the fight against Signium inside him.
And while I'm certain the relative privation fallacy would be invoked if I were to imply any standard of quality here, I can safely say that it won't be winning any awards and might provide you with some unintentional chuckles. Once you've gone through the odd cutscene switch, one that informs you about the story of a Dark Lord who rose to power, you're introduced to your class choices, the first of which is Dark Lord. Does that mean if I play as the class and get killed, I instantly win the game? I think translations might be a little rough here. Beside playing a class named after the main antagonist, you can choose from a Blader, Warmage, Whisperer, and, well, I would say also the Spellbinder, but that class has not been implemented yet, which makes it an odd choice to put on the main screen, with no timetable or warning telling you that that's the case until you try to make one. It's more reasons I don't feel this is ready for prime time. After you head into Asian MMO Cliché 53, where the tutorial has you as an unstoppable level 100 badass, giving you a preview of what your class will eventually become capable of, you then come down to the sudden case of plot convenience that forces you back into level 1. It's a solid enough set of events for the story and playstyle introduction, but when you've played more than a few grind-focused Diablo clones, they really start to wear together a bit. It's notable that, unlike a few games in the genre, the camera seems fixed, and the map can't be freely rotated to make navigation and searching a bit easier. Instead, that camera will automatically rotate to fit whatever angle it decides, which might frustrate genre fans. The game is pretty basic play in all accounts. Click to move and attack, certain keys to cast skills, and collect loot. Find quests, and complete them for more loot and upgrades. There's also dungeons with difficulty settings. Now, I find that you could confidently deal with the monsters within at nearly any difficulty setting. The bosses seem weirdly imbalanced against it. On lower and even the highest difficulties, you'll effortlessly lay waste to entire hordes of enemies, and then get two-shot by the boss when they get anywhere near you, even when you follow their mechanics. I was specifically building my character as a defensive tank, and they couldn't weather any blows without a ton of kiting mechanics. It just feels really off. As I would have liked to enter those dungeons with a decent group of players, those queues never seem to work, and the game at the moment is just infested with botters. The general and zone chat is a near constant flow of alphabet soup, plugging any number of gold-selling and account-stealing websites for easy levels and currency. It's always a harrowing sign. In case you didn't guess, this was on the radar as a potential MMO grinder when so many other options fell through. But if anything, it just serves as a reminder of the increasingly hopeless stagnation of this genre. I'm certain there will be people that will find enjoyment in this title, but it's never really been my thing as a genre, even when the game is inherently well made. So maybe I'm not the best person to be inquiring about this game. If anything, just look over the footage that I've shown, and if something about it appeals to you, then by all means give it a shot. This has been an MMO Grinder Sidequest, and it's time I logged out.